Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to jump into this with you today because we're unpacking something that is literally the heartbeat of modern school life. We're looking at the incredibly crucial and often underappreciated mission of the well-being coordinator. These dedicated folks have a really heavy lift, you know? They aren't just managing schedules, they're actively trying to help students truly belong and genuinely engage their voices in the school environment. So, we're going to explore exactly how well-being coordinators can move way beyond just, measuring student happiness on a chart to actively building true deep-rooted student belonging through structured listening.
Okay, let's dive into this with the core problem we face in basically every school. Plenty of pupils have something to say. The quiet ones rarely say it out loud. I mean, it perfectly captures the reality of any classroom, right? You always have that vocal minority, the students who are totally comfortable throwing their hands up and speaking their minds. But the vast majority, they hold on to incredibly valuable feedback, but they just kind of sit on it. They remain silent. They are the quiet ones.
So that leads us right to a critical question. How does a well-being coordinator actually change that dynamic? Pastoral care teams are constantly trying to reach every single student, not just the loud ones. It's a massive effort to build a culture where those quiet students feel secure enough to step forward. We really have to find a way to make giving feedback safe, accessible, and most importantly, meaningful to them. To answer that, we're going to methodically unpack this entire ecosystem of student voice. We'll quickly run through capturing those quiet ideas, designing safe reporting channels, triaging as a coordinator, handling worries just as ideas, closing the feedback loop, and ultimately shaping well-being together. Let's get right into it. Starting off with Section 1, capturing the quiet ideas and hearing every voice. This is the daily reality for a coordinator trying to genuinely listen to their students. The thing is, pupils actually want to talk about really specific stuff. They have real, valid thoughts on their own well-being, the school facilities, an upcoming event, and even the teaching itself. Now, the loud ideas on these topics, those spread like wildfire. We hear them all the time. But the quiet ideas, the subtle, brilliant observations from the kids sitting in the back row, those are the insights that truly have the power to shape a school's culture. The challenge is figuring out how to bring those specific ideas out into the light. And that brings us to Section 2. Designing safe reporting channels to empower every pupil. This is where the physical design of a reporting tool absolutely makes or breaks a student's willingness to speak up. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how beautifully simple the solution can actually be. We're looking at a setup where a pupil gets a basic text box, but crucially, they also get a toggle marked Post anonymously. By offering these two distinct paths right next to each other, you empower every single pupil. If they post by name, well, that fosters open dialogue and lets them take direct credit. But if they flip that toggle to post anonymously, it immediately provides the psychological safety required for those hesitant, quiet voices to finally be heard without fear. It literally gives everyone a safe way in. Moving right into Section 3, triaging as a coordinator and managing student ideas. Because capturing the ideas is just step 1. Now we have to face the back-end reality when these suggestions start flooding in. The triage process has to be super deliberate. First, a suggestion lands in the queue, but interestingly, the system allows the coordinator to switch this feature on exactly when the school is actually ready for it. Because let's be real, if you turn on a feedback fire hose without a bucket, you're just going to drown your staff. Once they're ready, a staff member triages it, assigns an action, and tracks it. This step-by-step process is vital. It guarantees that staff are deliberately tracking each submission to a clear outcome, instead of letting a kid's brave suggestion just disappear into a digital void. Let's step into Section 4, worries dressed as ideas, focusing on hidden concerns. We kind of need to brace ourselves here because this addresses the most complex, sensitive, and often totally hidden part of a coordinator's job. So the crucial point is this really profound concept. A worry can arrive dressed up as an idea. Just let that sink in for a second. A student might submit a seemingly harmless suggestion about, say, changing the layout of the playground or avoiding a specific hallway. But underneath, it might actually be a quiet cry for help or a subtle indicator that they're being bullied. Coordinators carry the massive burden of reading between the lines of every single submission. To support coordinators with that heavy burden, there's an incredible, totally invisible safety net called a safeguarding scan. Every single suggestion runs through this calibrated scan, just like a daily reflection would. It operates quietly in the background to spot those hidden concerns, making sure absolutely nothing slips through the cracks. It protects both the student who submitted the idea and the staff member reviewing it. And this brilliantly illustrates how that safety net actually functions in practice.
You can see a totally clear divergence of paths. A standard idea routes straight to the coordinator and gets tracked to a clear outcome. But if that scan detects a safeguarding concern, the routing completely flips. It gets surfaced quietly and directly to the responsible adult. It is never, ever decided automatically by an algorithm, and it's never placed as a permanent label on a child. It's handled with total human care and discretion.
Okay, transitioning over to section 5, closing the feedback loop and validating courage. This is where we get to the ultimate goal of the coordinator. Let's move to and see how this builds across a timeline. It's almost like tracking a package online, but instead of a new pair of shoes, it's school spirit. Week 1, the pupil bravely submits their idea. By week 2, staff have tracked it down to an outcome. In week 3, if they submitted it by name, the pupil is officially credited. And then the absolute best part arrives in week 4. The You Said We Did board is published for the whole school to see. The loop is officially closed. The student sees firsthand that their voice actually changed something. This brings us to our final piece, section 6, shaping well-being together, which is really all about the broader school culture. The powerful truth here is this. Well-being isn't only measured, it's actively shaped by the people inside the building. A well-being coordinator doesn't just want a spreadsheet full of data, they want active participation. When students are given a voice, and when they look up and see their ideas making a difference on that You Said We Did board, that is exactly when true, deep-rooted belonging happens. They realize, hey, this is my building too. The whole methodology we've been walking through today is powered by a platform called Skilly, which you can check out at app.skilly.ie. It's just a really practical, honest tool designed specifically to help schools manage this entire ecosystem, from catching those quiet ideas in a simple text box all the way to proudly publishing that closed loop in public. The platform's tagline is "Practice to Perform." It's just a calm, grounded reminder that building student well-being and cultivating their voice, it's definitely not a one-off assembly or a quick event. It is an active, ongoing, daily practice that schools really have to commit to performing every single day. I want to leave you with this final, kind of provocative thought to chew on. If you close the loop in public tomorrow, what quiet voice in your building will finally realize they have the power to shape their school? By giving pupils a safe way to be heard and visibly proving that their words actually matter, you might just unlock the most transformative ideas your school has ever seen. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this look at amplifying student voice empowers you to foster some true belonging in your own schools.